Darryl, te puki Muay Thai. When I first heard it, I thought, where the hell have I got to go to film this show? But it's Hamilton. How do you get the name, and can you tell us a little bit behind that?
I used to be a PE teacher at high school, and high school was Hillcrest. Within Hillcrest, we had the Tihipuke, which was the Māori focus unit, and I first started Muay Thai there as a school sport, so I just called it Tihipuke Muay Thai there. By the time I decided to go commercial and leave teaching, the name was already sort of out there, and it loosely means at the top of the hill, so the apex. It's Yodkao in Thai, which is mountain peak, and so it's got that sort of more spiritual meaning, so I just decided to keep with it.
Well, it's well now known and now well established now here in Hamilton, right in the city, and lovely little gym you've got here, not only for the trainers, but you run shows here as well.
Yeah, it's good to be able to double up, keeps down the costs. But eventually, well, actually in June this year, we're going to step up our shows and upsize a bit. So we're looking forward to that.
You usually run 3 shows a year. Is that the plan again this year?
Yeah, three or four smaller shows. So when we start upsizing our shows, we'll probably do 2 bigger ones and then 2 smaller ones, because we also host youth shows and the Wahine Tour shows as well.
One thing that I always call this is that they call them gym shows, but this is the biggest little show in town, I reckon, because you have some really great fights here.
Yeah, we like to keep the card good and even. It makes for it's better for the sports, better for the spectators, and of course the joy of being in a smaller venue is you've got that heightened atmosphere too. So that'll be one of our goals. Moving to a bigger venue will be trying to maintain that atmosphere. Our first big show will be at the YMCA in Hamilton. It's the venue of quite a few, the bigger fight nights, boxing, Knees of Furies held there too. And we're going to do a tag team show. So we've done tag team shows in the past, and one of our more sort of electric fight nights, they attract a lot of people. We've got Alejandro Telez working with Lucas McAdam. They're fighting a couple of good smack fighters that are doing pretty well for themselves at the moment. And we've got Zen and Jesse Morrow Wilson, they're another tag team. And so that'll be the main part of the show, along with the titles and things that go with our normal shows.
Oh, that'll be brilliant, because one of the best fights I saw in 2019, was it, when Jesse had...
Yes, before the lockdown, I think.
Yeah, well, 2020, before the lockdown, yeah. They're one of the best fights ever. And later on in the year, what do you got planned?
We've got a couple other shows later in the year, but we kind of just focus on these next 2 for now. And yeah, get those out of the way and then look forward to those other ones.
You're also involved in sanctioning bodies, and is there anything that you particularly want to see done, and how we can make the sport better?
Yeah, I'm on the board for NZMF, New Zealand Muay Thai Federation, and we encompass IFMA, the International Federation of Muay Thai Associations, which has merged with WMC. So some of the most prestigious Muay Thai and most legitimate Muay Thai organisations in the world. So I'm a part of that. As far as what I'd like to see in the future, I think I'd like to see a few rule changes, especially with regards to intentional fouling. At the moment we can get away with 2 fouls per round without being penalised. In some sanctioning bodies, there's no limit to how often you can foul. It's just up to the discretion of the referee. And so basically people can foul and get away with it and, win their fight dirty, so to speak. And we don't see it in other sports. You don't see people getting a warning for a head-high tackle in rugby or a shoulder barge, or you don't see someone grabbing the ball in soccer and throwing it in the net and then getting a warning for it, let alone getting the points for it. So I think it's something that should flow into our scene too, as it has in MMA. Professional MMA, the referee can deduct up to 2 points at the discretion if they deem a foul to be intentional with no warnings. And so I think that's where we need to be heading to, just to keep our sport pono, to keep it legitimate and and not dirty.
The other thing I was going to talk about, the gym here, COVID, did it affect, or have you recovered from last year? How's things looking in the Muay Thai world here in Hamilton?
Things are pretty much where we left off before the big lockdown. It was scary because it was scary for everyone because we hadn't been in a big lockdown before, but luckily with the government support, everything held through. We lost a few members, but they picked up really quickly when the lockdown finished. And like I said, with the government support, and our lease dropped a little bit too, so we were able to survive and spend more time with the kids, and it was pretty good, to be honest.
I know you won't want me to say this, but you had a bit of a health scare a wee while ago. Is everything normal? How are things there?
Yeah, I had testicular cancer, which is a bit of a taboo sort of thing, among us men. But it is a very real thing. It's the biggest cancer for young people, teens and early 20s, and then it kicks in the plus 40s as well. But it is detectable. If you detect it early, it's easily treatable. 40 years ago, you had a really high chance of dying from it, but luckily with modern medicine, it's not the case anymore. So I'm all good. And I'm in the clear. So moving on from that. I know a lot of people don't want to talk about things like that, so they need to be talked about. And it's a reality of our life, and if we hide from these things, they sneak up and bite us in the butt. On the nut.
Hey, that's brilliant, mate. Well, when do the tickets go on sale for the 24th of April?
Generally we put them on sale about 3 or 4 weeks before, and that'll be on our TMT Fight Night website. It'll come up.
And anybody who's never been here, I'll tell you what, they're missing out on something special because it really gets humming.
Cheers. Yeah, we have a good time. It's a good night.
Hey, thanks for talking to us, Darryl. We'll catch up closer to the fight night maybe.
Cool. Cheers. Thank you.